Hello YouTubers, welcome to my channel. I had so much that I wanted to say about the Thomas Markle interview with Oprah. I got Oprah on the brain and Thomas Markle, and that was not how they go together. Hello YouTubers, welcome to my channel. I had so much that I wanted to say about Thomas Markle, his interview that he had on 60 Minutes Australia. And I think what I'll do is just break it up, because if I just talk about everything, my video is going to be way too long because I'm long-winded, and I'm trying not to be long-winded because I know some of y'all be like, girl, would you just get to the point? And I just feel like sometimes I'm with my friends and we talking and I'm just like, you know what I'm saying, and I just keep saying stuff over and over again. So I am trying my best to just hit my points and not to be so long-winded. Now, there are some really interesting points that came out in the Thomas Markle interview, and I'm going to break down just a couple of them. He hasn't spoken to his daughter since she married Prince Harry 3 years ago. Explain this. Could it be just that she's in a higher class now and wants nothing to do with a man who has nothing? He has nothing to give her to accommodate the drunken celebrity binge that she is on right now. Because essentially fame has stolen her soul. And this man can only make her wake up from her drunken slumber. Because he is someone that doesn't care about her fame and celebrity. Because she's just his daughter to him. Interesting point. Interesting point. Think about it. She stopped speaking to her family when she got married into the royal family. She cut herself off from all of her family. That has to say something to people. Claims she's treating him like an axe murderer for the dumb mistake he made. Exactly. He made a dumb mistake. So you're not going to speak to your father. People that have killed people, who have done really heinous crimes, have family that come and say, I don't like what you did, but I still love you. His daughter can't even come out and say that she still loves her father. She can't even come out and say, I forgive you for making a dumb mistake. She can't even acknowledge that just perhaps it was way too overwhelming for this humble man to suddenly be thrust into the spotlight. He made a dumb mistake. A dumb mistake. And you're going to just cut him off forever? Like he don't deserve no redemption? Where is his redemption? Especially when he's coming out and saying he's sorry. Look closely at why she's not speaking to her father. There is an underlying reason. He is no longer in her social class anymore. He's an embarrassment to her. She's glad he's made a mistake because it gives her the excuse. It's not a very good excuse. You can't excuse your way out of never speaking to your father for making a dumb mistake. He just wanted to improve his image. And it's no different than what Meghan is doing to her own image. She does the exact same thing when she has different paparazzi come out and photograph her as if they're just taking shots of her while she's just leaving and going somewhere. Like these are planned shots. How is it any different than what her father did? Fears he will never meet his grandchildren as his health is slowly declining. The man doesn't look like he's very healthy. He seems like he's very sick. He seems like he doesn't have much left in him to keep going on. And is she going to allow her father to pass away and to never be able to redeem himself for a dumb mistake? So there's something else going on. There's something more. You cannot justify this dumb mistake as a reason to never see your father. You can't justify it. So there's more going on. So really, if you really are a fan of Meghan and you really want to support her, can you really justify her never speaking to her father again? Can you really justify that? Over just saying, well, yeah, I took some pictures and he told her he didn't when he really did. And that was the mistake. That's not a good mistake. That's just not a good mistake. It's just not. But we know the reason why. It's the underlining pressures that she might feel once she allows her father into her life, and then she's opened the door to the rest of the family. That's what I think. Slammed Oprah Winfrey for using Meghan and Harry to build her brand. Well, it certainly looks like it, because Oprah would not even speak to Mr. Markle to get his side of the story. Basically, Thomas Markle essentially called Oprah out. He called her out because, you know, he tried to get an interview with Oprah. And this is why I feel like I am somewhat disappointed in Oprah, because it looks like she's just trying to befriend Meghan and Harry for the sake of having an insider's view into, like, she's just trying to befriend them. Just like, let's be friends, you know, so give me an interview. Because we know in the very beginning, Oprah was trying to get an interview with Meghan right when she got married into the royal family. And it was like, but they're getting married and they're going to have a happy marriage. Why would they want to speak to you? What is the controversy? What is the news making that would warrant you coming into their lives, unless it's just to see what a great life she's having? But it's like almost from the very beginning, there was this consensus between the two that was unspoken. Like, we know something gonna happen. We know something going down in the royal family, and I want to get the first interview. I want to get the first interview. And so they colluded so that when it went down, Oprah would have the interview. And remember, Meghan was like, well, it's too soon. Let's wait. It's too soon. And then later it became obvious that, okay, I'm leaving the royal family. I'm giving you, Oprah, the interview. So it was like from the very beginning, there was some controversy that was meant to happen between these two and the royal family. It just seemed concocted to me. It didn't seem like they were really trying to just have a good relationship with them inside the royal family and to get along and to, you know, but it just seemed shady. And the whole fact that Oprah did not allow Thomas to give his side of the story, it was just always planned to be one-sided from the very beginning. And you have to ask yourself, why, Oprah, are you doing this? Like, Oprah is always about, you know, being a good person and morals and learning, all of these standards, but she seems to have gone on the side of this couple and they're doing all the things wrong, and she's like the accomplice to all their wrongdoings. And it's disheartening. I'm disappointed because she's not showing the better side of this story. And that is, you know, how are these two behaving badly? But why does Thomas Markle not get the right to have his story told too? Because his story is her story. Meghan doesn't have a story unless you talk to the father who helped her get to where she is. Thomas Markle is the reason that Meghan has a story. So why do you not include one of the most important elements to Meghan's story? And why do you not let her father tell his side? He doesn't have a right to have his story told? Because why? He ain't got enough power. He ain't got enough money. Markle has launched an extraordinary attack on Oprah. He's criticized the megastar for using Harry and Meghan to promote her new TV ventures. Speaking publicly for the first time and since the birth of his new granddaughter, Lilibet, the 76-year-old also criticized the cold couple for refusing to see him, saying even axe murderers are visited by their families. That was a really good one, because he was like, look, you ain't treating me right. You mean to tell me I done done something that bad to warrant this kind of treatment? And Oprah knows it's not right. I think Oprah knows. She knows that's not a good reason to not speak to your father. She knows. But, you know, they've got this deal. And they're trying to play this deal to the world. And they don't want people to really question it. They want people to just, you know, kind of let them just say what they want to say, and that's the story, and that's all that's been said. No, Mr. Markle's got a voice. He wants to say what has happened to him, and he's demanding that people listen. It's like, wake up. You know, you better listen to me. I'm trying to talk to you. It's like I'm trying to talk to you and you turning your head and looking the other way. It's like, wake up. Wake up. Of course it hurts that there are axe murderers in prison and that their families come to see them, he said. But I'm not an axe murderer. I made one dumb mistake. One dumb mistake, and I'm punished for it. This shows that this show that they've been on, that they've talked about compassion, that there's no compassion for me. There's no compassion for my family. There's no compassion for the world. Their branding is jacked up. You can't say you're going to be talking about compassion and then treat your family like crap. Like they don't go together. They don't go together. You just can't do it. If I had to done something truly terrible that was wrong, that would be fine. But I haven't. He's like, I didn't do nothing. Wake up. With his ailing health continuing to deteriorate, Thomas has said that he fears that he will never be able to meet Archie or Lilibet. I'll be very disappointed that I don't get to hold my granddaughter, he said. He's going to be 77 years old, July 18th. Hopefully, they will have a reconciliation and she will wake up from her drunken slumber of fame and do the right thing and go speak to your father. Do the right thing. It might be hard, but oftentimes the most hard thing to do is the right thing to do. Man, he didn't call, Mr. Markle didn't call Oprah Winfrey out. He's like getting bold. He's like, look, I'm done playing games. I'm done. He done worked his whole life, provided for this girl, and she gonna have the nerve to speak to him like this. Well, to not speak to him, essentially. The nerve. I don't blame him. Put your foot down, Mr. Markle. Go speak your piece and tell her, you better wake up. You better, hey, look, I'm gonna go on television. I'm gonna talk about you. You better say something. Although he didn't give away no secrets. Like, he didn't give away no dirt. Like, he didn't say anything that was real controversial. You know, and I think that's good. I wouldn't want him to do that. I think him saying what he said, completely honest and forthright with the things that, you know, he felt, it came off very sincere. And I felt for the man. My heart bleeds for Mr. Markle, because I can see this being a situation where someone has come into an extraordinary circumstance and they don't want to share. It's like she don't want to share her high class upper celebrity with her father and his family. She's like, this is all mine. The royals, my problems with the royals, my husband, my millions, my $14 million house is all mine. I don't want y'all having none of it. It's like she being stingy. It's like, because she knows the minute she opens up and speaks to her father and the rest of the family, they're going to want to come over. They're going to want, well, let's have a barbecue at your house, girl. You got 17 rooms. It's like she's always going to be the go-to person to go to and hang out at her house. So she's like, I ain't want nothing to do with y'all. Shoot. You know, she's trying to show them, y'all getting ready to, you know, come and take some of the things that I've worked hard for. It was hard getting what I had to get from Harry. It was hard. And I'm not letting y'all just come in and riding in on my coattails off all the things I had to do that I didn't want to do. But I did it, and now I got it, and y'all can leave. I don't want y'all in my life. Like, this is how I hear the conversation. This is how I hear the whole scenario with her. She just being stingy. She don't want to share nothing. She don't want to have nothing to do with no family members. Her children are going to grow up with no friends, no family. They're going to be isolated. They're going to be just all to themselves. And they ain't going to know nobody. They ain't going to know their family in America. They ain't going to know their family in England. They ain't going to know nobody. Do you hear me? What they might have is to have the fame and celebrity of kids here and there that they may see every once in a while, but they won't have that true connection to what's meaningful. What was meaningful to essentially, I think, Meghan and Harry when they were growing up with their respective families. So they've kind of put themselves and isolated themselves into this world where they just going to shut off everybody because they greedy. They want to keep the millions and the fame and popularity, everything to themselves. They just want to close in and just be by themselves and just call everybody out, you know, and just live their lives in isolation. Like they don't want to be a part of the rest of the world, but they want people to take them serious. They want people to look at them and be like, you know what? Respect us. Give us these multi-million-dollar deals with no talent, no grit, no sacrifice. Just give it to us because of the name. And the people that gave us the name, we don't even like them. We don't even like them. They were mean to us, but we gonna name our child after them because, you know, it's a power thing. You know, it's a fame thing. You know, it's like all these twists and turns that don't mean nothing, that don't lead to anything. They just like, what? Why you do that? You know, it's because we read right through you. We understand a little bit about human behavior, and what you're doing is seriously in the rule book of people that don't want nothing to do with anything that is meaningful and valuable to life. You just want to live in a very superficial, meaningful life. You just want things that are really meaningless. And when he talked about Charles, I'm like, I could see Prince Charles and Thomas Markle like getting together. As a matter of fact, Charles, you need to call Mr. Markle. You be like, look, you want to come to the royal family's house? You want to come to Buckingham Palace on us? Come on, Mr. Markle. You know, if he did that, what would happen? What would happen? I would love to see that. Prince Charles, you need to be calling Mr. Markle, because I could see y'all having a beer together. I could just see it. Y'all getting along, talking about Meghan, you know, and just, you know, going back and forth about all the scandalous things that have happened, and just kind of really talking it out a little bit. I think it would do some good. It probably would be good for Prince Charles to force Meghan to see her father. Like have him at the palace or come to the United States and knock on their door with Mr. Markle. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if that happened? But Mr. Markle said he's not a stalker. You know, he would never do that. And you have to respect that too. Like he ain't going to stalk her and force her, but he going to do it in a very like subtle way. Okay, look, I'm going to go on these shows. I'm going to sit and speak in front of the camera and be like, look, you wrong. You need to call your father. Call him. And everybody else around her in her orbit should be saying, call your father. Did you know he looking for you? Did you know your daddy is looking for you? People need to be calling that girl Meghan right now. Anybody that speaks to her on a frequent basis, or if she has anybody that she speaks to, her therapist, I don't know, somebody, they be like, look, call your daddy, he looking for you. And you know what I am so excited to hear about is that the Queen never complained, never explained, called it out like we're going to ditch that policy because we got this new girl, this American divorcee in our family now. Yeah, we're going to just ditch that policy because it ain't working. We got somebody here in our family that's just off the chain, and we got to ditch the policy. Yeah, we're going to get rid of it because we're going to have to let her know she ain't coming and running roughshod in the royal family. We're going to let her know what the real deal is. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Because apparently she lied or had a representative say that the Queen had seen the baby via FaceTime. Like they had seen the child. Well, and that was not true. The Queen came out and said, no, I didn't. I didn't see the child. You know, it's like they just going to be lying all day. You know, just because they can. Well, now they know that if the Queen is going to come out and hold them accountable for what they say, that's going to prevent them from coming out and saying lies. So it was a very wise and strategic choice to say we are ditching that policy. Leave it to an American skank to get the Queen to start to speak out. Then ran the Queen, got her all discombobulated with her nonsense. And she's going to have to speak. Ain't spoke all these years. Finally, in the last years of her life, she got to ditch a policy that she done held fest on for most of her life. It's like she's never had to come out, well, maybe a few times. But now she's got to ditch the whole policy just so that she can show this girl up. So that she can see, look, you ain't getting one over on me. I'm the Queen. I'm the queen. And I'm not going to let you just run roughshod over me. So if I got to do away with something I've done for years, that's what I'm going to do. Because I'm going to show you I can make decisions. And I can make smart decisions. And I can show you that you ain't going to run one over on me. As a matter of fact, I'm going to call your daddy and we're going to come together and collaborate on how we're going to take you down. Take you down, girl. That's what they need to do. And now let's then see how much power and victimizing it that this couple will be able to do then. Wouldn't that be something if the royal family kind of colluded with the Markles and they all kind of got together? Ooh, that would be a good one. I'd be like looking like, ooh, come on, what's up next, y'all? What y'all gonna do? Y'all taking questions? Because I got one for you. And, you know, all kind of craziness would be happening. But I don't know. That would just be playing into their reality show thing. So maybe they won't do that. But that would be interesting, wouldn't it, if they did that? For me, I think it's something that we should always remember. Thomas Markle speaking. And they should never know when he's going to come out and speak. They should never know. They should be looking over their shoulders. Like, where's my daddy? Where my daddy at? Did he speaking out on somebody's show today? Where he at? You know, and then maybe, you know, keep her in line, you know, because she can't just keep going through this life thinking that she can just, you know, be free to say all the lies she wants and to just do what she wants as if she just kind of plopped into the world. She got a whole history behind her that she's trying to ignore. And it's like, how dare you? How entitled of you, how snobby of you to just diss people in your life that you have known your whole life, who have essentially taken care of you. And people need to call her out that know her and tell her that's wrong. We don't do people like that. We don't do that. That's rude. That's rude behavior, you know? And I feel like for me, I just feel really sorry for Thomas because I can see this man is crying out to be with his daughter and is no different than somebody who is a drug addict and you are trying to get your child to get off the drugs. What's wrong with you? Why are you stealing from me all the time? Why are you so mean to me? Why are you using me all the time? And you're going to, because you love your child so much, you're going to keep going after your child to try to get them off of the drugs. And right now, Meghan Markle is drunk with fame and celebrity. She is essentially drunk off of the enticing feeling that she's craved her whole life. And at this point, she doesn't know how to get off of this drunken feeling of celebrity that she feels. And she feels that it can't be disrupted by associating with a father who doesn't have no money and associating with the family of Thomas Markle, because I think she believes that by associating with her father means that she has to now associate with the siblings, the half siblings. And she has to associate with the other family members. As soon as she opens the door to Thomas, then that opens up the door to the other family members to speak with her. And she wants nothing to do with them because they're not good for her high that she's on right now. She's on a high right now that she can stay on as long as they're no longer in the picture. And as soon as they come into the picture, you know, it can ruin her the way she is perceived, her brand, and she doesn't want that. Because I can assure you, if she didn't have this global stage, if she didn't have any of the things that she has now, she would talk to her father. She'd speak with her half siblings like it wouldn't be a big deal. But she has an image she's trying to uphold. That's what it is. He does have a nice place in Mexico, though. That patio, I mean, he has a beautiful view. And I can see that this is a man who just wants the simple things of life. He's worked hard his whole life. And at this point, you know, he's trying to just, you know, live it the rest of his years in peace. And what I find interesting also about this whole situation is that Meghan seems to really like beating up on older people. Like, she just likes to create drama around people who have had a hard life and lived their lives and have sacrificed and have committed themselves to duty and doing the work that they do and have earned their keep. And she just wants to beat up on people that have essentially proven themselves, that have done the do. And she just kind of like want to take the shortcut and like talk about them so she can get on the top. It's like she trying to take shortcuts to the top. And poor Thomas Markle, he's just like, woman, wake up from your drunken celebrity state and talk to me. It's me, your father. Don't you remember I'm the one that supported you, that paid your college way, and to help you get out and be able to go on auditions and so you could pay your bills? Like she has completely done this man so wrong. And I can't say that I blame him either, because it's like a slap in your face. It's like, how dare you insult me like that after everything I did for you? It's like, you really gonna treat me like this now? After you done got your platform and celebrity and you kind of essentially made it, whatever that means, like people know you now, so you made it. He's telling her, look, you're not going to disrespect me. He wants to be respected. He wants to show her that you don't treat me like this, not after everything I've done for you. You didn't live with your mother since you were 6 years old. It was he. He's thinking it was me who did this for you. And you gonna give all the accolades to your mama who was missing in action? Your mother wasn't around when you were going through your adolescent years being crazy, giving me a hard way to go. It was me. You know, it was my family that gave you the opportunity to get into the film industry. What did Doria do? But yet she gets to sit and be quiet and not really have to worry about you not speaking to her because you making her be quiet. And I think she's already on the outs too, come to think of it. There's been reports that Doria is on her way out. So for me, I look at Thomas as being someone who is putting his foot down. He is showing her, you are going to not do me like this. I'm going on camera and I'm going to keep talking. I'm not going to let the people forget what you've done to your family. Thomas Markle is like, I'm keeping it real because I'm your father and I'm going to use a little bit of power that I have to make my voice heard. And now there's talking about a cease and desist letter where he may have to stop talking. And I hope he doesn't stop talking, because this man needs to let his voice be heard, because Meghan is the exact kind of person that needs to have someone showing her, you are not getting over on me. She needs to be told, because she is someone who is so drunk with fame and celebrity right now that the only person keeping it real for her is her father and her sister, her half sister. And these are the people that need to make Meghan accountable for her behavior and how she's treating people and how she's trying to get over on people. Like, I'm a celebrity now and I'm going to make it look like I do good things through my foundation and show that I'm a humanitarian. While at the same time, I'm going to treat you like the scum of the earth. Like, you can't do that. There's a contradiction in that. And Thomas Markle is not going to have it. And he is very reserved and humble. This is a man who speaks well. You can feel he's talking to you from the heart. He says he's a very likable guy. It doesn't make sense to him. Oprah is using him. And he said things that a lot of people are probably thinking, but didn't have the guts to say it. This man said it. He said it. He's like, Oprah is using you. How can you do what you did on camera, Harry Windsor, and be vulnerable in a therapy session in front of the whole world and talk about your family, everything that they've done for you? And Mr. Markle, what does he want? He wants nothing from them but to get the respect that he deserves. And the people that do not call Meghan out to tell her to contact her father, they are just as culpable, because you cannot be in Meghan's corner and also justify her treating her father like this. And we know the circumstances as to how all of this happened. So there's no excuse for it. Oprah should be demanding that Meghan speaks to her father. Everything that Oprah has talked about through the years, this is not a part of how Oprah has sold herself to the public. This is not something that's supposed to be okay with Oprah. They better come out and try to say they're going to have to do a cease and desist. Yeah, go ahead, because that tells me that they scared. They don't want this man speaking. Because what they want to happen, they want to just be like, okay, look, we just going to not say nothing. And hopefully, eventually, the man will just shut up. So let's just not say nothing. And then she can slowly keep rebranding and using her PR and trying to, be likable. And people will forget about this old man living in Mexico who says he's my father. Like, we want to forget about him. That is a part of what they're trying to do. But as long as Mr. Markle makes himself heard, she don't have a playbook. Her playbook is constantly disrupted. Because when Mr. Markle speaks, the majority of people that listen to Meghan and Harry are going to hear Mr. Markle. And Mr. Markle keeps throwing a wrench in their agenda. And I think Samantha, especially her father, have a good standing to speak, because they're very validated in their claims for being ousted by her. It doesn't make sense. And people that try to belittle them for speaking out, I don't gel with that at all, because I believe that if you have a relationship with someone that you have really helped and they treat you like this, then you have a duty to try to make your voice heard. It's kind of like not accepting no as an answer. And I'm that kind of person. It is very hard for me to accept no. When I really, really, really want something, if someone tells me no, I'm going to find my yes. And this is what Mr. Markle needs to do. He needs to continue to fight to get his yes. Even if it's just to have his voice heard. And even if it's just to have Meghan say to him in his face, I'm never speaking to you again. Have the guts to even tell your father to his face you don't want to see him. To me, they're being cowards by hiding behind their PR and hiding behind their millions and millions of dollars and hiding behind their charity of goodwill. I mean, forget your goodwill. You ain't got no goodwill if you treat your family like this. And especially if you don't even speak to your black family who ain't done nothing to you. So it can't really necessarily be Thomas and his family that have really done something, because she's doing the exact same thing to the black family that ain't done nothing. So people that try to give Mr. Markle a hard time for speaking out, I'm not with you. I'm not feeling you at all. Because this man is like, how dare you? It's like you looking for your child that did something wrong. You like, where you at? Where you at? Like he's looking for his child. It's like, how dare you do me like this? Like, you gonna hear what I gotta say. And you're a woman now, have the guts, have the integrity to tell me to my face that you don't want to see me no more. How about that? And sometimes you just have to come down on people like, look, I'm not playing around with your games. You drunk with all this celebrity stuff. I don't give a crap about your celebrity. I don't care nothing about your fame. And you ain't going to disrespect me like that. And this is what I hear. This is what I feel when I see Thomas Markle. And what Mr. Markle said was on point about everything he said. I think he was on point. Keep speaking your truth, Mr. Markle. Keep speaking it, because you're not going to let your daughter get away with what she's trying to get away with. And we know she's trying to get away with a lot. And she think you just going to go off into oblivion. Just go off. Be quiet, say nothing. She's already got her mama quiet. Her mama don't say nothing. And now she's just hoping Mr. Markle does the same thing, because as long as they're quiet, they don't bring in the relatives and all those other folks behind them that I would have to speak to if I speak to them. But don't bring up that side of the family. I want to keep them quiet. Let's keep them suppressed. Let's put an injunction on Mr. Markle speaking, so people don't have to hear him talk and ruin my reputation. That's what it is. But don't let her get away with it, Mr. Markle. You keep speaking your truth, and you keep calling your daughter out until she has the guts to come into your face and say, I want nothing more to do with you. Let her come out and actually say it. But she ain't gonna say it. You know why she ain't gonna say it? Because she don't have the guts to do it, because she knows behind that man is someone who deep down she knows doesn't deserve to be treated like this. So the more she can ignore him and not talk about it, the more distant she can become, and the less she has to really think about it. Because she wants to be off in her little world, drunk with her celebrity, drunk with idolation, drunk with all the superficialities of the world. Because this is what has meaning to her, not the real substance of life, the real things that have meaning. Those things don't really mean anything to her, because she's dealing on the surface level of the superficialities of the world. But I think I'll continue speaking about Mr. Markle. If you guys have questions you want to ask me about the interview, ask me. I will do my best to answer them. Maybe I didn't hit some points that you were speaking or thinking about. I'll try to address other things. But to me, this interview really was very classy. It was done with a lot of integrity. It was filled with heart. You really could sense that this man is sincere. He's got a good spirit behind him. He's very, you know, soft-spoken and really just wants the basics of the world. And you have to feel sorry for him. And eventually people have to start seeing what his daughter and his son-in-law are actually doing. They are trying to run a game on people. They are trying to run a game. And this game is very much not really worth winning.